Right, let's get this out the way to start off with then. Transfer deadline day coming up tomorrow. Are you expecting Carlan Grant and Terence Congolo to have left the club by the end of the deadline tomorrow?
I think so. I think both players are close to arrive to one deal. And I think it's something that is not complete, but both players are close to leave the club.
Is it right that Carlan Grant's having a medical today with West Brom?
I don't like to talk about any information that is not official because I don't think that I have to be the person that give any news to the media.
Okay, but you do expect both of those deals to go through.
Yeah.
Will that be a relief to finally know where you are and who's staying, who's going, and the squad that you'll have to work with?
I think the situation didn't change from we arrived here to the club because we didn't play with any of both players. Congolo was injured, and at the same time the club was focused to try to make this deal. And at the same time with Corberán, the situation was exactly the same. Both parts, the club and the player, were thinking that the best for both parts is try to make the movement because the player have the illusion to trying to progress in his career, and the club understand the situation. And as a coach, when I arrived here to the club, I received this information, I accept, and we were working with Carlan Grant as a player, trying to help him to continue his improvement as a player or his physical values, but not to be thinking of him to be in the squad for the rest of the years. That's why he wasn't involved if any of the official games that we have played until now.
If those deals do successfully go through, are you likely to see any new faces arriving before the end of deadline day?
It's what I say, like we always are thinking in the market until the market is closed. We are going to be focused in any possibility that can appear. But it's the same situation of 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or 3 days ago. So for us, the situation didn't change because I have in the mind that these movements were close to be done. Then what we need to be is continue to be focused in the market because until the market is closed, anything can happen.
If you don't get any new faces by the end of tomorrow, are you more than happy with the squad that you currently have, that you can take them forward for the rest of the season?
I think more than happy, the coaches, we need to be focused. We need to be focused to trying to get the best performance of the play that we have. Because of course, every squad can improve. Of course, every squad can be worse. But at the same time, the only important thing is like our focus with the players, with the demandings, with the develop of them as a player, with the growing of them as a players too. And at the same time, trying to make the stronger team that we can do with the player that we have available to work with.
Thank you for that. Looking ahead to Swansea then, you've just had the international break. Was that a useful break or has it broken up the momentum that you were starting to build?
No, I think with the conditions that we had in this pre-season, this period of time was fantastic for us because we could spend 2 weeks working with the players. At the same time, we have recovered some players that arrived from the injury, and we could spend time to working with them. Was something very positive because at the beginning of this period, it's like after the Rotterdam game, when we started after the 2 days off that we gave to the players after Rotterdam, Luis O'Brien started to introduce being part of the squad, and he has completed 2 weeks, something that he didn't do with us yet. So it was positive. At the same time, we recovered some players that have some problem, like Schindler, for example, and he complete 2 weeks of work too. And I think it's very positive to can have time to work with the players that we have because we start to live the feeling that we start to have all the players that we are going to have during the year.
That's great news. Does that mean that Lewis O'Brien and Christopher Schindler both could play against Swansea if selected?
No doubt.
Yeah. Other injury news, we were waiting to hear about Danny Ward and Alex Pritchard. Are they both fit?
Alex Pritchard is the same situation of Schindler. He missed 1 game because he had a small injury, but after he missed the game of Rotterdam, he started to work normal with the group. He started to introduce with the normal training with the group. He started to participate normal, and he's going to be in the squad for the next game.
Okay, and Danny Ward, is he still a couple of weeks off?
Yes, Danny Ward is different situation. He's the only player that we couldn't recover. The injury of him is going a little bit slower than we were thinking to have the recovery. and I don't think we will have him maybe in the next 2 weeks. But I know that the medical staff is working with him very close, trying to accelerate this process because he has to be an important player for us.
How big a challenge will Swansea be on Saturday?
We know that every game is a challenge. Every game for us is an opportunity to continue growing as a team and at the same time to add points in the table. That this is something that we want. We know that Swansea is a strong team, is a strong squad. They are working with this coach. This is the second season with the new coach. They didn't make a lot of signings because they are creating one stability that I think is positive, because was one team who played the playoff, was one team that performed really well the last year, and they start strong this year too. So the game is going to be one challenge because we are going to play with both teams that are trying to play with similar identities, with similar behaviors, football behaviors. And I think it will be a very nice challenge for us and for them too.
Does that suit Huddersfield Town better to come up against a team who will also want to get forward, who will want to attack?
I think every time that we have more time with the players, I think they are reacting very well and we are growing as a team. It doesn't mean anything because at the end, the game is always the game. But when I am watching the players, I start to feel that they feel more comfortable, that they have more clear the habits, that they feel from the fitness level point of view, that they feel more fresh to make more consecutive efforts. And the feeling that I have with the squad is that they are growing every day. And now it was important to arrive to this period of games with this feeling, because we know that from now until the next international break, we are not going to have a lot of the same normal weeks of work, because we are going to start to play one period of games that nobody played until now, because the only situation when the teams play 7 games in a row was after the breakdown, after the COVID moment. But in this moment of the league, every club have the option to make 5 changes, 5 subs player. So now it's totally different because we are going to play 7 games in a row too, with 2 days off, with 2 days or 3 days of break of recovery days during the games. So it's going to be a very demanding period of games, but at the same time, from the fan point of view, a lot of consecutive games to enjoy watching football.
Very demanding, but also a good opportunity to really build some momentum.
Yes, always is important, because for me, every training and every game is an opportunity to continue growing together, to continue make better things on the pitch. So we need to use these games to continue the process that we are showing until now.
Finally, from me, we've just been talking to Isaac Mbenza, and he seems very happy. He's really enjoying his football. He was very keen to come back and make a good impression on you. He seems to have succeeded in doing that. What is it that you particularly like about him, that you've brought him back into the fold?
I think the first thing with him is like he's suffering a little bit the problem that he was on loan in France and the league stopped before the England league. So I think from February he wasn't playing games. That was the idea when the club did the loan to France, trying to help him to have more minutes that he had here in the club. Unfortunately, he couldn't receive the minutes that he wanted to have. But from we are here, I asked to ask him to start before, because trying to use 1 week or 2 weeks before to the part of the players arrive and start the trainings, trying to improve the physical level, because never is the same when you are without training football, just in your house from February, to arrive here in the moment that we arrive to the club and start to training. It's like I feel that he has a little bit of disadvantage with the other teammates. He accepts, and when one player accepts to lose a little bit of holidays time, he start to tell you one message that he wants. At the same time, when we arrived to the club, we were watching one player that was working very hard, that he wanted to win one space, that he was thinking that was one opportunity that he has to take advantage. And for me, it's very important the feeling that the players give you, not the words, the facts. And the fact was that he started 1 week before or 10 days before to the other teammates, because he lose a little bit of holidays, because he had more than the normal holidays of the players for the French situation that I told you. But at the same time, was one player that was with a lot of self-demanding, trying to improve, trying to give something that he has inside of himself. and something that he wants to give to the Huddersfield fans.
It felt that he was getting quite a lot of criticism from some sections of the support, maybe under previous managers. Do you feel that he's maybe getting his confidence back now, and that will make him a better player?
I don't know. It's like sometimes the players change a little bit because they are watching the same situation with different eyes. Sometimes they change because they understand the situation in another way. Sometimes they change because they think that they have more confidence now. I don't think any coach want to get the worst from the players. But at the same time, of course, it's important that as a players, they have to know if you trust or you don't trust on them. It's important for the players to feel that they have to have one important role in the team. And with the number of players that we have in the front of the attack of the team, I think every player has to be important, and we need to try to get the best from every player that we have. So it was our focus from we are right here. We start to talk, to review all the previous year with him. We start to work a lot with the videos to analyze every game that he was playing in Huddersfield and at the same time in France too, trying to start to put his mind in the strengths that he has, because sometimes the players are not focused enough in the strengths, are more focused maybe in the weaknesses points, and are not using all the skill that they have to make an impact in the games.
And just briefly, what particularly does he bring to the Huddersfield Town team that you like?
I think Isaac Mbenza is a player, very explosive player, very fast player too, that he need to use this speed and these explosive movements, trying to hard more the opponents, trying to make better receivings, because when the player is better with the 1v1 than with the movement in behind, you need to receive the ball more times to the body. And when the player is better going to the space, the player need to use this skill more times. At the same time, I think Isaac Mbenza is a player that can help the team in the crossing situations, and at the same time in the finishing situation when the ball is in the opposite side. He's a player that he had more the habit to play in the left side. Now he's changing the habit to play more in the right side, and he's feeling comfortable to play in the right side. That I think is one position that helped him to finish better the action that he had during the game. And at the same time, he's showing high level of ambitions to continue growing as a player. He still is 24 years old. We trust a lot on this. We trust a lot in the skill that he has, and of course in the growing that he has to do. But I think that he's in the right way to continue with his progress as a player.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you, Catherine. Stephen, whenever you're ready, mate.
Hi, Carlos. Yeah, we touched on injuries there. I'd like to run through a few others as well, if that's okay. Romani Edmonds-Green, I know he had a bit of an issue. How's he doing?
Romani Edmonds-Green, he continued in the process that he had from the last injury that he had. The medical staff continue thinking that he is in a process to prepare his body to the football demandings. So he continue be working with the physios and with the physical coaches to be ready to come back to the team, something that they are testing every week. So he had an scan today that we are going to know very fast the results, or scan tomorrow, sorry, that we are going to know fast the results. And I think depending about the result of the scan is going to add to the squad, or he will continue working separately with the physical coaches.
Okay, thank you. And Tommy Elphick, he's been out for a long time. Where's his recovery?
I think he continue managing the injury. We know that it's a very long-term injury. He continue working with the medical staff, and is one player that we don't expect to have him in the next weeks.
Thank you. And Ryan Schofield as well. How's he doing?
Positive with Ryan Schofield because he has progressed very well, and now he started to work with the group during this week because he was working with the goalkeeper coach during all the injury period, trying to don't lose some physical value that he's going to need, even if he's not using any specific, he's not doing any specific action because he couldn't use the hands to save any ball. But this week he started to save ball. He started to introduce with the team, so it was a very positive news for us.
That's great. I know that he's very highly rated by the club. Do you see a first team future for Ryan Schofield?
I don't have any doubt about this because it was a player that he was on loan making good progress. I think always for the keepers it's important to have the minutes because with the minutes they can continue to develop. Then it's something that we will valorate. What is the best option to do with him because he's a young goalkeeper that have very good skills, but at the same time the keepers need to show this skill in games, trying to continue in his growing as a player.
I know he spent some time on loan last season. Would you consider that for him again, or would you try and look to get him into the first team and competing with Ben Hamer?
Now the idea is to have him because he is not ready 100%. 100% is not fit. I think like he has a very good character. He accelerates a little bit the process of the injury. Something that talk about this character of the players. Something important for me. But nowadays he is going to continue be the normal work that he has to do. He is going to try to recover this type of work that Benhema and Joel were doing during the time that he will have the injury. And in the moment that he is 100% fit, we will analyze what is the best thing to do with him, thinking in the present, but thinking in the future too.
That's great. Thank you. You've mentioned the heavy schedule that you're going into now. Is that a good thing, a bad thing, or is it a bit of both?
It's the real thing. It's the real scenario that we have more than the positive. I think if we win games, will be a fantastic period. If we don't win the games, will be something hard to manage. But this is football. This is the life. It's something new for me. Not for me. It's like something new for the teams to play a lot of games in a row in the normal condition with the three changes. But it's a situation that we need to adapt. We need to think very well. We need to valorate every time and every day what are the level of the players to see who can play the next games. And it's going to be a new challenge for everyone. And we hope that we face in the best way.
Great. It's been really interesting seeing your team and watching it develop tactically over as the games have gone on. What are you hoping to see in this next spell of games before the next international break?
I think we want to continue in the growing that we are doing until now. I want the team to continue defending better because always we can improve. I think the team defends very well in the second half versus Rotterdam because we didn't concede in the second half any clear chance, and this is something important to continue growing this way. Not what we are going to can do, but at the same time, it's our target to reduce from the defensive point of view the chances of the opponent. Then we want to continue growing, be able to win more challenges because as a team we know that sometimes we have some individual challenge that we need to win to impose the level in defense and to manage better the game in defense. And at the same time, the team feel more comfortable in the last game with the ball, but not just having the ball to create the chances. It was something that we did really well in the second half versus Rotterdam. Unfortunately, we only could score one goal, but I think the team provoked enough chances to come in more different. And always this is our target, try to create the maximum number of chances in the game that we can create, and at the same time trying to reduce the chances of the opponent. Sometimes with the ball, we can help the team to defend better because we do less efforts and we manage and trying to control better the ball. But this week is going to be a challenge for this because both teams are teams that feel comfortable with the ball, that want to have the ball. And we are going to see if we are able to break the press of them. If we are going to see if we are able to make enough pressure for them to move the game where we want to move.
Yeah, and goals, obviously, Karlan Grant going out, he's going to be a big loss in terms of goals. Is it a case that everyone now needs to make more of an effort, or is there anyone in particular who you think could step up into that kind of level?
I think it's important always add the number of players with the option to score goal. That's why we try to arrive with many bodies to the box every time that we create any chance. I think it's important to, when you don't have a top scorer player, it's important to have a top scorer team players, no, team squad. But not only for us, this is for any club. So the idea of the team is try to create chances to have the option to score the goal. To have chances, we are going to try to have the ball. And at the same time, when we have the chances, try to arrive with bodies to the box, trying to between all of the strikers that we have right now, between all the offensive midfielders that we have right now, with all our fullbacks that we have right now, try to concrete the chance and score the goal. That is something that we know that is key to win the games.
Yeah, and finally from me, I've certainly been quite critical, and I know that a lot of fans have been quite critical as well, of Juninho Bacuna in particular. Is that something that you would agree with? Is there more that he needs to do? What's your view on him?
I think Bacuna is a special player that he needs to realize about his special skills. And one thing is to know your skills, and another thing is to be able to use the skills. I think I am watching a clear improvement of him, trying to be more focused to show the skills that he has. And until now, I am happy about the progress that he is doing. And at the same time, how he is using this period of trainings, trying to continue improving, because it's a play that for me, he wants to do. And this is the first step that you have with the players. He wants to have an impact in the game, and he needs to continue to be focused about how he can be an impact or make an impact in the game.
Is that about keeping things a bit simpler sometimes?
I think it's the mix of a lot of things. It's the mix of the desire of the player to want to make this impact. At the same time, sometimes some players feel more, they need to feel a little bit more like the confidence on the coaches on them. Sometimes with this level of confidence, when they feel that you trust on them, they want to answer to you, like they want to have this feeling given to you more. Another players, no, it's total opposite. Another players, sometimes you need to fight more than to love them, to get the best of them. But then sometimes some players, depend about the week, you feel that they need more one thing, one other thing. But the most important for me is what the player want. And what I was watching is one Bacuna that wanted to make one more impact, to be more important player in the squad.
Great, thank you. Good luck at the weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Finally, Stuart.
Carlos, up until now, it's been just one game a week. Now it's 2 games a week. Does that change your job a lot? Do you have to do a lot less coaching now?
No doubt, because I think now we are going to have less time to work, to train the team, because we need to have more time to prepare the games. So now, in the moment you finish one game, you need to make a fast feedback of the game. And the next day, you cannot start to work to correct the feedback that you do and to try to improve some strengths that you need to do. You need to be just focused in the next game to prepare the game. And at the same time that you give the feedback and that you prepare the next game, you need to make easy the recovery of the players, because we know that every game is a high level of effort for us. Something not only for us, for every player, but like the demanding that we have in the game is going to bring that every game is demanding for us. We know that we need to work a lot trying to get something, but this is our ambition, this is our mentality, this is something that we are working a lot too. So we know that after the game is going to be very important to propose and to try to help them to make easy the process of recovery. That's why we involve one nutritionist to the club, that where all the physical coaches are going to be very focused now in this period of time, because it's going to be key how we manage the high intensity in the games and at the same time the recovery to can continue to do consecutive this type of efforts. But at the same time, from we arrive here, we try to replicate the normal game, but never is possible. It's always impossible to replicate in the training one real game situation, but we try to replicate in the middle of the week always one game situation, trying to make the body of the players adapt to have a couple of games per week. So it was something that we tried to do from we are right here. And now we need to see if we were enough ready or not. We are going to see now. It's a very good test for us to see how we are to play a consecutive games.
So, although you've been playing very important games, does it almost feel like these are the last few days of almost pre-season, when you've still been educating the players and conditioning them?
Yes, with any doubt, it was our feeling, because with some injury that we have, with some problem that we have from we are right here, and with the period of time that we have here, because just the third game that we play here was official game, was the cup game, so we couldn't use enough time to work together and to create something together. But for me, these 2 weeks help us a lot to kind of have the feeling to work more time together, to improve as a team, and that's what we want now. Tomorrow, after tomorrow, we have the test to see if we use well this time or not.
So are you confident going into this game that the players have a much better understanding of what you require of them than they did a few weeks ago when the season started?
Always we are confident every time we play any game, but at the same time we are knowing about how hard is, how difficult are the game in championship. So of course we have full of confidence in the thing that we are doing. We have full of confidence in the feeling that I have from the players, because they want to make something important, and this is for me the most positive thing. But at the same time, we need to know that we are going to face with opponents that maybe they want the best, the same than us, and we need to face, and we need to try, when we are facing this challenge, to impose our style, to impose our ideas, to impose our feelings, trying to get the more number of points that we can from each game.
And do you think your team selection will be different now, thinking not just of Saturday's game, but of Tuesday's game? Or will you still try to keep the same team?
I think for me, the stability in football is key, because when you are making a lot of changes, we are not creating stability. At the same time, for me, it's important for the players that know that they are in the first 11, because they need to fight to be there. Because sometimes when you change a lot of the players, they start to don't know what is his role in the team. And for me, the roles is something that is important. But at the same time, we need to manage the fatigue of to play consecutive games. So I think at the end, in these 7 games, we are going to watch a little bit of mix of all these things, because sometimes you are training very well and you are playing this game during the week that I told you, but after the game can affect you in one point or another point. I hope we don't have injuries, but after the injuries can affect you to the players. I hope we don't have any COVID player more, but after COVID can affect you. So I cannot predict what is going to happen. But I think always it's important for the players to have continuity and to have stability in the team.
And do you think physically and in terms of their understanding, we'll see a much better Carol Eiting and Naby Zahr for having spent this extra time training?
I think for Eiting it's a little bit different, because he was working with Ajax during the preseason, so he was a player that he needed time to adapt to the squad, to adapt to the relation, to play with some different teammates. But he had the habit, even if the demands are different, because it's not the same to play here in England than in his country. It's not the same to play with Ajax, one team who dominate all the games, that they have the ball and they defend different than us, than to play here with us, that we are a different type of team in the league. So what he needed more is time to adapt to the new demands that he has here in the club. The situation with Zahr is totally different, because it was a player that in the moment that Charlton played the last game, he finished the contract with the club, and he was in this period of between one club and to appear another club. So he wasn't involved, and at the end, he had to add the quarantine period of time, so he couldn't train normally with the team. That, of course, for him was very important to have this period of 2 weeks to prepare himself to face well the next games.